Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right. So yesterday was the day where the House voted to release the Epstein files. Good morning, Ida. The House voted to release the Epstein files yesterday. And because it was a super majority vote, we only had one dissenting vote. And I found out that one Republican who voted, hey, Abby, good morning. That one Republican who voted to not release the files, he claimed he was doing it to protect privacy. Fuck the privacy. The victims in those files said release that shit. So anybody else in there, if they're not doing anything nefarious, they're fine. But if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, well, they shouldn't be fine. Let me take this hat off. I don't need that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as we, move forward with this. But I'm glad we got that vote done. But y'all need to understand that still don't mean you're gonna get those files. Trump has been laying a foundation. Remember, he asked Pam Bondi to open an investigation on Democrats, and there is language. Matter of fact, let me find what I have found yesterday, because there is language in that bill that would allow the Justice Department to avoid releasing things. I'll say it like that. Now, in that House bill that got passed at the Senate, they didn't even do a vote on it. They just passed. They just said, since there's a super majority over there, we don't see a need for any modifications to it. We don't even need to vote on it. Passed, right? In that bill, the House also demanded Jeffrey Epstein's financial records from JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So they're also requesting that information too. Because see, all you got to do is follow the money. The money, because remember, this is prior to Bitcoin. Follow the money. The money's going to lead you right to the people that were involved in this shit. Because they were paying to be involved in this. They paid top fucking dollar to be involved in this. So understand, because of that, that's going to be an issue. Those people who paid the money don't want us to know. You like that, Taco Bella? I'm just trying to get to the bottom of which Bubba was being referenced in the email. That's all. And we got 3 Bubbas here. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure which one. Now, in that bill, hold up, I'm going to it now. In that bill, remember a couple weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, or a couple months ago, remember the FBI was working hard to redact Trump's name out of all of the Epstein files. So you coming into it knowing that, you're coming to it knowing that some Republicans are being redacted from it. These are reports that have been out there, right? These are reports that have been out there. So don't be surprised if you end up not getting to what you need. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This morning on Patreon folks, I'm going to show y'all a video this morning of Alex Jones. And y'all know I don't even like Alex Jones, right? But Alex Jones on his network of InfoWars 7 years ago, right? Cheryl, go make me a sandwich, beloved. Republican women can't talk to me. I don't talk to conservative women. Go make me a sandwich. Get down on your knees and go make me a sandwich. So Alex Jones, 7 years ago on InfoWars, I'm going to show you a video this morning where Alex Jones is talking about Trump sucking off Bubba. It's not like some of this shit wasn't known inside of certain circles, apparently. Apparently, this was known in certain circles already. Right? Already. So I'm going to talk with you about that this morning in Patreon. I'm going to play some video about that. Not the sucking off part. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But there are a couple of provisions in that House bill that was passed to release the Epstein files. Okay. One of them is they will not release any information that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, provided that such withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary. So, of course, the Justice Department can say there's another investigation happening, because remember, Trump called for an investigation on Democrats only. So they could avoid them releasing certain files, right? And then the definition of the word unclassified. Follow my logic. The bill would require the Attorney General to make public all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in possession of the Justice Department, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney offices within 30 days of becoming law. So Pam Bondi gets to decide what's classified and what's not. Just so you know, she's going to make it her business. She's going to make it her business. Anything affiliated with Trump is considered classified. She's a lapdog. So y'all can't expect her to do anything but what she's already done. Okay? So, yep, Pam Bondi going to say now, we'll say it's under investigation. Y'all need to pay attention. Hold your government accountable. Republicans are protecting PDFs. You need to hold your government accountable. Until the American people stands up and hold its government accountable, it ain't going to happen. Now, I'm going to tell you a bigger problem you have as an America. Y'all remember September 11th? I'm going to ask y'all. Do y'all remember September 11th? I think it was 2001. Do y'all remember September 11th? I just want to check and see if people remember September 11th. You said, oh yeah, JC, you do? Okay. So question. If y'all remember September 11th, why did the Trump administration take a $600 billion investment from the Saudis? The same people who flew planes into the trade towers. Is there any reason why America would be taking money from the Saudis? See, I had an issue when Trump took money from the Saudis the first time when he was in office. The first time I paid attention to that shit. But nobody called it out, which was weird to me, because I'm like, I thought everybody was so upset about what happened on September 11th. All of a sudden, all those people dying didn't mean shit. All of those people dying on September 11th meant nothing. I saw what he said about Khashoggi. He said things happened. So America, just so y'all know, obviously you didn't care about none of the people that died on September 11th, because your trifling ass government is now in bed with the Saudis hardcore. Right. Putin said the Saudis didn't do it, but Putin's not a valid source for information, except if you're a Trumper. Putin lies about every fucking thing. You know? Mike, my thoughts on Mamdani is he should make conservatives wash the back of their necks because they smell like earring backs. Bye, Mike. I could smell you. I knew who you were. I could smell the poverty when you in your writing. I could just smell it. It reeked of poor. Sonia, you know earring backs smell atrocious. So I instantly knew who he was. Oh, Trump is doing private business with the Saudis. Absolutely. He is. Hold up, let me fix that. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, Trump is doing business with the Saudis. He's selling us out to the Saudis. He's selling us out to the Saudis. But I'm asking the question, America, did y'all forget September 11th? Did you forget that the Saudis financed a lot of that? That the majority of those terrorists were from Saudi Arabia? Okay. Your government tried to throw you off after September 11th anyway by attacking Iraq and going into Afghanistan. Your government been trying to throw you off from holding Saudi Arabia accountable ever since it happened. Ever since it happened, your government has been working extremely hard to get you to love the Saudis ever since the shit happened. Ever since it happened. Hell, even on September 11th, even when they found out who did what, they still didn't want you to hate the Saudis. Why? The Saudis got money, baby, and America has always been for sale. Even before Donald Trump, it was for sale. Even before him, it was for sale. But it's for sale on steroids now. Your government is now for sale on steroids. America should be ashamed. Real talk, people should be ashamed. People should be ashamed. User 561, you can't talk to me if you're not willing to come in with your real account so I can see your Coach Leather skin. Block. I don't talk to trolls. And I don't even give trolls the privilege of having access to me. I don't even give them access. Professor Hobby, get your pussy up. You don't have enough followers. You talking too much in my live. Block. I keep telling y'all, this live is not a democracy. This live is a republic of me. And since conservatives cheer saying America's a republic, you shouldn't have no problem with me booting your ass. Go to another fucking live and lapdog and lick on them fucking those Chinese souls, and you'll be okay. Like, why are you talking to me? You know why? Because I'm getting y'all to think about something. I'm getting you to wonder why your government is being a lapdog for the Saudis, and the Saudis are the people who help fly planes into them fucking Twin Towers and the Pentagon and in the field in Pennsylvania. Folks forget. People died and left families behind, children behind. Folks forget. I didn't forget. I remember September 11th, as I should remember it. But now Americans act like none of that ever happened. None of that ever happened. It's like, no, that shit did happen. And lying to yourself doesn't change nothing. Lying to yourself don't change anything. All it does is you sitting up here trying to make sense of the nonsensical. I remember September 11th. I remember watching all those people in those buildings, trapped, couldn't get out, listening to the audio of the people on the planes, trapped, can't get out. I remember there were school kids on one of the planes that flew out of Dulles that were going to a field trip to California. All those children died. I remember. So my question to Americans is, how come y'all don't? How come you don't remember what happened on September 11th and you are laying down and allowing and being quiet about your president claiming the Saudis are investing $600 billion into our economy? That means they bought us. They own America. That's what that means. That's what that means. That means more Muslims are going to come in and buy up, rich Muslims, right? Are going to come in and buy up homes in your communities, businesses in your communities. Yeah, that's all that's going to happen. Listen, while you're suffering right now, rich people are shopping. I just want y'all to know, while y'all are struggling, rich people are shopping. Of course, JD Vance went on vacation on 9/11. Didn't you know it was a holiday to go relax and do nothing? No, it's not like anything ever happened on September 11th. I'm just trying to get people to wake up. Because until people wake up, nothing will change. But I am surprised that today I got online and I didn't see more people outraged about his deal with Saudi Arabia. How Trump is a lapdog for the Saudi prince. Anybody that can give Trump money, he's down on his fucking knees. Whatever you want, whatever you want. Because he's a slave to money. He's a slave to money. I'm telling y'all, something's got to give. America, you got to hold your government accountable. When I saw this shit yesterday and I saw how MBS was grinning in the White House, you know what that look was? That look was, yeah, I bought you motherfuckers. Yeah, I bought you motherfuckers because I know y'all greedy and y'all lapdogs for money. And I'm going to tell you who else let it happen. You can impeach Trump all day. I'm going to tell you who's complicit with this shit. Republican Congress. Until y'all hold your Congress accountable, it don't matter you talking about Trump. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because Republicans in Congress have allowed this shit to happen. That's why they didn't give a fuck about a shutdown. That's why they didn't care about a shutdown. Wasn't like they were stopping Trump from doing anything he was fucking doing anyway. And quiet as kept. A shutdown allowed y'all didn't have the runway to tell Congress to stop Trump because government was shut down. They know what they doing. I need y'all to wake up. Congress is supposed to fund America, but then Trump comes along and decides what money you actually get to get. Because remember, there are no states' rights when Republicans are in office. When Republicans run the government, they don't believe in states' rights. Well, except if you're trying to take other people's rights. Then it's okay, but only if you're a conservative, right? Now, I know y'all saw the footage. Well, not the footage, or read the articles or heard the news story about how a federal judge has said that the redistricting in Texas is unconstitutional and it's illegal. And they can't use that for the elections. It's the most beautiful thing. And the person who wrote the opinion wrote a 160-page opinion, and they're a Trumper. Even they said no. Even this judge said, well, what happened to states' rights? The judge said that, but he said Texas didn't do it properly. And Texas did the very thing that they said their remedy was supposed to be fixing. But their remedy actually did that thing. Again, Republicans love non-existent problems, and they want to solve problems that don't exist. Right? You notice that. We got to get all the illegals out because they're taking your health insurance. That was not a thing. Illegals were never taking your health insurance. Republicans were. They don't want you to have it. They just don't want you to have it. That's why those subsidies, they don't want to renew them because they think that it's wrong to give you access to health care. And I think that it's wrong in 2025. Your health care is still tied to your employer. Your health care shouldn't be tied to your employer at all. And it shouldn't be at all. But I'm going to tell you why, because I went digging this morning. I had to bring up the article. I went digging. Why is our health insurance tied to our job, right? Because other countries, their health insurance isn't tied to their job, right? So I was like, why in America is our health insurance tied to our job? And I found out it's a holdover from policy from World War II. See, this is why you can't keep having old people in your government. This is a carryover from World War II. That's why our health insurance is tied to our fucking job. That's why. That's the only reason why. It's not because America can't change it. They don't want to. Now, in World War II, there were wage freezes in America because we were in the middle of a war. So companies had to do something else to draw people in to want to work for them. And benefits, non-wage benefits, was how that happened. No, what was that I saw? Non-wage benefits was how it happened. Things like health insurance, life insurance, education benefits. That's the shit that got people to go work for certain companies, right? That's how it happened initially. It was all due to World War II. It was all due to World War II. Wages were frozen, so these companies started offering benefits. But then in 1943, the IRS made a rule that made employer-provided health insurance tax exempt. It's just a tax shelter for companies. That's also why they don't want the separation. Aha! Aha! That's why companies got a lot at stake on you not being able to go to a marketplace and get your insurance. Because the company you work for, your insurance is a tax shelter for them. So when it's between you and your company you work for, who you think they going to side with? The company you work for. Yep, Alicia, that's why I always tell y'all, follow the fucking money. That's why you don't have a marketplace that's working the way that it should in other developed nations. Because it's designed to keep you working for your slave master that is your employer. See? And then your same employer donates money to Republican lawmakers that continue to make so you can't have insurance except through your job. Yeah, daylight savings time. Yep, hold over from World War II. That's why we need to get rid of that shit too. So that's why we can't have a marketplace that works properly. It all goes back to money. Companies want their tax breaks. So they lobby Congress to ensure that your health care stays tied to that company so your company can continue to get a tax shelter. That's it. I'm going to do a video on that today because I'm sure people don't even know that. But I'm telling you, when I told you, it changed your perspective about things, didn't it? Because then you realize you don't have health insurance in a marketplace on purpose. They don't say what the specific law was called at the time. I just know that it was created in World War II when wage freezes forced companies to compete for workers with non-wage benefits like health insurance. And the trend was solidified in 1943 by the IRS ruling that made employer-provided health insurance tax exempt. And that status was later made permanent by President Eisenhower, which created a financial incentive for both employers and employees to keep the system in place. It's money. There's no incentive for us to keep employee-provided health care. That's bullshit. There's no incentive for us. Because it's not like you don't pay healthcare premiums. You still pay. Now, your employer might pay a percentage, but why can't the government just give you the same percentage? Like, make the employer still pay a certain percentage into the kitty for universal health care for everybody. And then the government then gives that percentage to Americans so they can buy health care. I don't understand. You say it does reduce your taxable earnings because it's taking pre-tax. True, but when government changes the tax code to tax you out the ass and give more rich people tax breaks, you ain't netting no money. You're losing. You just don't realize it. That's the game. It's what I tell you, it's little hand magic, right? It's little hand magic. So you got to start playing all these different games just to try to feel like you winning. It's a shame. And Lori, you're right. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it's a carrot. And for some people in America, all you got to give them is a carrot. Even if that carrot is starting to spoil, they still love it. At least they getting something. At least they getting something. You still have conservatives out here who believe, like I saw an argument online this morning. And a guy said, Liberals just want to give illegals health care. They don't let us have health care. In California, that's what they do. They give illegals. That's not what's happening in California. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. But because people are so loud and opinionated, but so unaware, uneducated, that's the problem. Yep, you're right, Alicia. They can shift that money from giving to corporations to reduce our premiums. Government could fix healthcare. It doesn't want to. Because healthcare keeps you tethered to a job that you hate. Think about it. Think about how many jobs you've wanted to quit, but you didn't because of your other benefits. Think about it. I've been there. As a person with multiple sclerosis, I can't quit this fucking job. I need healthcare. Because you also couldn't afford to have a break in care. Because before the ACA, if you had a break in care, insurance companies could deny you coverage, right? They could say it was pre-existing conditions, right? See, I remember those days. I remember the days of zero fucking healthcare if you ain't had no job. And if you had a break in coverage, you wasn't going to be able to get more insurance. Or if you did get it, it wasn't going to cover certain fucking things. You see, you like that background? Ain't it something? I'm just trying to figure out what Bubba, the president, was giving that guac 30,000 to. And I say 30,000 because if a horse is in the mix, we can't do guac 3,000. This is something different. Have a great day, not desperate. But it makes me wonder. I be wondering. I be thinking. I've been drinking. What they say, conservative tears here in my cup, cause I've been thinking. Hey, y'all got me fitted. I want you to read right now. That's all I want. I just want them to read a fucking book. I want them to read something besides the Bible so y'all can understand what the hell is going on in your fucking government. Real shit. I'm upset at Americans not caring. I'm upset at Americans not caring. I'm glad I'm making y'all laugh, but I make you laugh and just so you can get the message. You understand? Because we shouldn't be here. You say if they read the Bible, they'd be convicted. Yeah, you're right. But the problem is I figured out something else about conservatives. They don't read the portions of the Bible that check their ass on not living right. Like I did a video about that yesterday where I talked about how like over half of America, right, is no longer religious. Like they've decided they don't want to be religious no more, which was like, what brought that on? And so it made me think about my own life. And I thought people don't like hypocrites. People don't like hypocrites. You want me to be a part of your church, but y'all don't live nothing like this word that I keep hearing when I come in this building. So why would I be religious? Basically, I would just be coming there to give money to the fucking church. It's a tax-free business. Exactly. And I'm not saying all churches are like that, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are because folks don't figure it out. In my post, I felt so sad for somebody. I got to respond to comments today on that post too. Somebody said to me yesterday, their mother had passed away. Well, their mother was sick. Their mother was the organ player at the church. The mama was still playing organ at the church when the mother was dying from cancer. The mother was still coming to church playing the organ. The girl say her mother died. Nobody at the fucking church said nothing to her, offered her no prayers, no nothing. And she is also a member of the same fucking church. What that tell you? What that tell you? It's not a community. It's a building with people in it, but that's not a community. Because a church home that's a real community, listen, let me explain something to y'all. I'm a Buddhist. I'm not even a Christian. I'm a Buddhist. My mother was a Christian, right? She loved the Lord. She loved going to church. She served, her church home. But my mother was very funny and picky about the churches that she would belong to. She didn't do mega churches. She didn't do churches that had a shitload of money because she was like, they got the wrong thing in mind. They making money. They hustling. You understand? My mother was like, preachers and street hustlers ain't too much of a difference. So her thing was, nah, I can recognize game. You understand? So my mother was like, nah, she could catch it. So when my mother passed away, I remember asking her church, how much does it cost to have her funeral? Her church said, there is no cost. You make a donation and you make what you think is appropriate. Oh, okay, cool. They were like, the pastor will preach, at her funeral. You could just tell us, whatever else, whoever else is going to speak. Because my mother had picked all her speakers for her funeral before she passed, who would sing, what the songs would be, all these things, right? Because she had time, right? So she did all of that stuff. That's a real church. That's a real church. A real church. I remember when my mother used to belong to a different church, and she left the church because she didn't like how they treated the pastor. So she left. She said, they all about money, and I'm all about the Lord. I'm all about the Lord. My mother would say, because if Jesus come back right now, he ain't going to the potter's house, right? Hold on, let me turn this heat off. I'm getting too hot up in here, y'all. My mother would always say, the Lord is not going to the potter's house. She not going where TD Jakes is. He's going to be on the street corner. He's going to be hanging out with the ladies of the night, the degenerates, the addicts. That's what Jesus is going to be, right? He's not going to be hanging out with the rich people. He's not going to be hanging out with people that covet money and people who, covet things. That's not God. That's man. And America, I found it interesting that over half of people have stopped being religious or not believing in religion because religion is closely tied to your politics in America. It's all tied together, right? They try to tie religion and politics together. And so with people separating themselves from religion, I am telling you, America's going to get more liberal. I'm telling you, America's going to get more liberal. I'm telling you, because religion is one of the things that keeps people indoctrinated. Real shit. Religion keeps people indoctrinated. Y'all, I know y'all heard the saying. One of the most segregated days in America is Sunday. I know you've heard that before. That's one of the most segregated days in America. You got your black churches, you got your white churches, your Latino churches, your Filipino church, like everybody doing their own fucking thing. Serving the same God, but just all in these many different ways. The shit is interesting to watch. It frankly is very interesting to watch for me. Like I've always told people, like, remember yesterday when we were talking about the Bible and I said, I have blown minds of some people when I just get them to think. I say, listen, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not telling you not to believe because it's not my place to tell you that. I'm just trying to get you to think. Think about it. The Bible was not written in English, right? Not initially, right? It was translated, but not written in English, right? Imagine being the person or persons tasked with translating the Bible. And you get to a couple words you don't know, but you know all the other words around it. So what are you going to do with the words you don't know? You're going to make assumptions, right? Because you know some things. So you'll just make assumptions. Because in the absence of information, my mother always said people make shit up. I don't know why people don't take that common sense approach when it comes to translating the fucking Bible. I don't know why. Because see, man is the Bible. That's not God. That's man. That's man. See? Because think about it. God's so omnipresent. God is everywhere. But he had to put all the stuff in a book for you to read it. I just want y'all to think about it real quick. He talked to Moses and put and gave Moses all these tablets. Moses came down with all the tablets. He was like this. Moses came down. Look, I'm gonna do the L7 translation version. Moses came down. Hey, yo, listen. I just climbed up on top of this mountain thing up here, right? And out of nowhere, I heard this voice, and then some lightning, and then these stone tablets showed up with all the shit we not supposed to do. Y'all should probably read this shit. Yeah, he said y'all not supposed to do this shit right here. And then somebody said, hey, Moses, who told you we not supposed to do it? It was some man in the sky up there. He was talking to me. And he wrote everything down. He only spoke to me, though. Me and a couple of other dudes. He don't talk to nobody else. But here you go. I'm going to put the tablets over here. Y'all need to read that. Really? Okay. All right. I always ask people, did it ever dawn on you that it's actually a book of stories? It's actually a book of stories. Say it again, Janine. You don't need other words to know God. God is omnipresent. He's in you. He's everywhere. But the church needed that book. The church needed it. Why? Because they needed your money. I told y'all, it's all about money. Think about it. Question. How many people in your church does your church pay their rent? Send them to college. How many communities has the church that you belong to built up the communities in? You know, do infrastructure projects where the church is paying all of it. Not exactly zero, because it's a business. It's a tax-free fucking business on the backs of America. That's it. Wake up. I told y'all there's a movie you need to watch. That's why I tell you need to watch Stigmata. That's why I tell you should watch that movie. Because it's going to make you think even more about the Bible, religion. Because see, you can love God and question the church. People try to act like you can't question the church. Use a lie. Even God said you can question them. Wait a minute. So I can ask God questions, but I can't question the church. Okay. All right. That's your pastor say, don't ask me no questions, bitch. Give me this money. Run me my cash. That's what it is. It's the pastor saying, you just supposed to believe. You don't even need to read the book that we told y'all is God. Think about it. I just thought about this too. Think about it. If the Bible was actually the work of fucking God, why wouldn't your pastor want you to read it? Why would your pastor say, don't worry about it. I'll tell you everything you need to know. If it's the word of God, why wouldn't they want you to read it for yourself? Okay. If it's the word of God, how come you got a King James version? I thought there was only one king and he reigned supreme up high. That's what I thought. Y'all gonna learn. Yeah, Americans don't read. That's why I put that video up that I put up this morning. America, y'all got a literacy problem. Yeah, you look, JC says literally you read it yourself and they say it's out of context as if their interpretation is law. Exactly, because that's called indoctrination. I want you to believe what I believe, not what the scripture says. Because that scripture wasn't written by God. That scripture was written by man. I just want y'all to think, that's all. Oh, King James also wrote a book on demonology. Oh, he was multifaceted, very talented. Sounds like King James is very talented. He said, I'm going to cover all sectors just in case some of you heathens want to worship the devil. I'm going to get over there too. I'm going to put some work in over here too because I want all the money. I want all the money. You know, you say your mom is upset with you because I started questioning church and the Bible. You know why? Because mama can't answer those questions. And instead of her saying, I don't know, baby, she'd rather get mad at you because your questions also make her question shit too. And she don't want you to do that. You fucking up all the indoctrination that she's been taught. See, I'm going to tell you, I remember this happening. When my husband and I, we were going to get married, right? So we were going to marriage counseling at his church because we were going to get married at my husband's church, right? And we did get married at my husband's church. And I was a Buddhist even then. And I remember we were in marriage counseling and my husband said to the pastor, don't we have to be equally yoked? I mean, I'm a Christian. Don't she have to be a Christian? And I'll never forget this. The pastor looked at him and the pastor said, what makes you think that she's not equally yoked? She's not required to believe everything you believe in, but she believes in something. She believes in something, a power greater than her. And he's like, whatever you want to call that, that's up for interpretation. But your pathway and your relationship with God is your relationship. Why are you trying to dictate hers? Now that's a pastor. That's a real pastor. Not the standard issue bullshit. Well, married couples have to be equally yoked. Blah, 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 blah. But they've taken equally yoked to mean we both got to be in the same church. We both got to believe the same. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. And that was the only pastor I'd ever heard be honest about that shit. The only one. The only one. Everybody else that I've ever heard talk about that, it's always, what did I talk about yesterday? What did I say? If you're a woman and you get a man, this is a man over top of your life, taking over every facet of it. That's what some Americans call equally yoked. That ain't equally yoked. That Negro had a whole cloak over your life. What is you talking about? That's not equally yoked at all. Not at all. This is why I tell y'all, read for your own understanding. People who tell you, oh, you ain't got to read it. You ain't got, listen, when I decided, long before I became a Buddhist, I was doing a religious, what I call a religious pilgrimage, right? I was learning about all different types of religions and trying to figure out, I was looking for a place to belong. That's the truth. A lot of religion is about community, right? People want a community. They want a place to belong. So that's what they be looking for. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a community, a place to belong. See, in the house that I grew up in, my mother didn't make us get baptized. My mother did get baptized. My mother was hardcore in the church. But my mother's mindset was, again, your walk with God is your own walk. I can't get you into heaven. So you got to figure out for yourself what you want for your life. Okay. My mother was never about trying to force us to do exactly. She'd make you go to church, but she wouldn't make you pray. She wouldn't make you get baptized. She didn't make you do none of that shit. That was your choice because it's your own walk, your own salvation. You got to choose it for yourself. And I've always thought God is omnipresent. God is much bigger than any religion. If you really believe in God, how could you possibly limit such a great being to just Christianity? How? That don't even make sense. It don't make sense on paper. It don't make sense in books. It don't make sense in here. Because God is so fucking great. Man tries to limit to him to what man can understand. Well, then you don't believe in God if that's the case. That's why I always call the shit out. And I go, okay, so you mean to tell me there's only one pathway to this omnipresent being? There's only one pathway to God that you say is great. So somebody that's been in the jungles, never been into like modern society. So they got a Bible too. How they get a Bible? They went up on a mountaintop too, and God crafted some stone tablets for them too. Of course not. Stop the cap. That's not what happened. There are many pathways to God. And I don't allow man, to your point, Zarvis, to put God in a box. So when I started studying, I was reading the Bible. I was going to different church, like Christians. Y'all got so many fucking sects. Excuse me for look, I'm talking about church and cussing. Sorry, Republican Jesus. But y'all got so many sects and all these different things. 7-Day Adventists, Southern Baptists, Protestants, Methodists. It's so many. It's so many. It make your head spin. You be like, okay, all these people claim they love God. Why they got all these denominations? And then depending on the denomination, that determines the Bible that you use. What? It's a lot to keep up with. A lot. So you gotta pay attention. This is why I tell you, go on your own religious pilgrimage. So I was going to different churches. I went to Catholic churches, Baptist churches, 7-Day Adventists. I went to Muslim spots. Then one day I went to a Buddhist temple. And I walked in there and it was a guy in there. Older gentleman. He's probably dead by now. And I remember him saying to me, I said, I just wanted to get some information. And he said, well, I'll just tell you this. He explained to me about his life and how Buddhism had changed his life, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. Then he said, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to believe and what not to believe. I'll just tell you to try. He gave me some prayer beads. He said, I need you to just chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo for the rest, for a week. Just try it for a week. Chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo every morning. Just sit down every morning and chant. I said, okay. He said, and at the end of that week, see how it works for you. I said, all right, cool. Because I didn't understand. All I knew was what I had seen in that Tina Turner movie, right? That's all I knew. That's all I knew. But it's way deeper than that, right? Say it again. The best way for Satan to deceive people is in the church, not outside of the church. That's what my mama used to call it. She called it the Tina Turner chant, right? So that's all I really knew about it. I didn't know a whole lot. And that week, I chanted. Every morning, I would get up and chant. Every morning, I would get up and chant. Every morning, I get up. I'm going to tell you, in a crux, in short, there are many different sects of Buddhism, too. Let me be clear, because there's sects, like with everything, right? So I want to be clear on that. I'm a Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist, right? And I'll say this. When I was at that temple and I met the guy, he told me, he said, listen, Buddhism is about taking personal responsibility for your life. Take personal responsibility. He says, see, the difference between Buddhists and Christians is, as a Buddhist, I believe that heaven and hell can happen right here, right now, while I'm living and breathing. I don't have to wait until I die to have a beautiful life, but I also don't have to wait until I die to suffer. I can suffer right now, or I can have a great life right now. It all depends upon what I choose to do with my life. It is the epitome of personal responsibility. It really is. And chanting is a lot about introspection. When you sit there and chant long enough, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and you just stay laser focused on chanting, I am telling you, it's like meditation. You're sitting there, you start thinking about things in your life, decisions that you need to make, understanding why you're not making the certain. That's really all it is. That is the core of it. Oh, you loved being a Buddhist. Yeah. And so I love Buddhism. I love it. But understand, even in Buddhism, there's also some raggedy ass people that are Buddhists too. Because you're going to find raggedy people everywhere. Now, I will tell you one thing that the members always say, though, that it took me a while to get it. Now I understand it. And so I know how to navigate it. When I would be going through something real bad, say I'm telling you, I remember we're asking, what you going through? This, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this, that, and the, oh, I'm suffering. I'm going through a lot. Members would look at me and go, oh, that's a blessing. And I'd be like, what kind of fucking cult is this? How come every time I tell y'all I'm going through something, people respond to me with a smile saying it's a good thing? And one day somebody broke it down for me. They said, because you're not hearing the message. The reason why they say it is a blessing is because in struggle, at the end of a struggle, there's a blessing there. Now, if you stay stuck on the suffering, you won't learn the lesson. So you're going to suffer lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime because you're caught up in the suffering. They were like, learn the lesson. Learn the lesson. Because if you learn the lesson, then you won't keep repeating the same behavior that puts you in a state of suffering. I was like, oh shit. I ain't see it like that. Yep, you ask your mother, why do people say hell is on earth? Yeah, heaven's on earth too. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. So that's why for me, Buddhism clicked for me, because I'm about personal responsibility and looking at my life going, what the hell could I do to make my life better? Real talk. Yep, the struggle is I like that. The struggle is the fertilizer for growth. Yeah, they do say that. Yeah, they do say that though. But when you think about it, it's true. Think about it. When you're going through something real bad, if you separate the suffering from what's happening and just assess what is happening, it puts you in a position where you can make better decisions to avoid doing that same stupid shit again. Real talk. It causes you to look at your decisions, your life, and make better decisions. That's why I said I've never tried to convince anybody to become a Buddhist. All I've ever said was take responsibility for your life. Whatever pathway you choose to do that, that's your journey. I'm just glad that you're doing whatever that journey is. And wherever it leads you, I hope it leads you to peace. Tracy, don't start with that. Girl, say it again. Say it again. I never want my kids to struggle, so why would God want you to struggle? Because if you listen to a lot of Christians, God don't like y'all. Think about it. Think about it. If you listen to Christians, God hates us. But at the same time, they tell you God love you. Well, wait a damn minute. But then you just told me he don't like me. And he gonna smite me. And he gonna do all these things. So does he love me or he hate me? Sound like to me an abusive relationship. That's what it sounds like to me. Abusive relationship. As long as I lay down and do everything he say, he love me. As soon as I don't do what he say, he hate my guts and he gonna send me to burn in hell forever. That don't sound like a God that loves me. I'm just telling you, that is man. That's not God. That is man. Man wants you to think that shit. Say it again, Kiara. Man, that's why I love, what do you call that movie? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where, what is the name of that movie? Bruce Almighty. That's why I like that movie. Because when Bruce says, why, can I ask why? And God says, yes. Yes, you can. The Bible says you can question, but you got to read it. Man says, don't question God. Never question what God, listen to what people tell you. Never question God. God does things for what? I thought you just told me God loved me. How come I can't ask questions? As a parent, I love when my children ask questions. It means they're searching for understanding. It means they're searching for understanding. I love that shit. Smite me, almighty smiter. When he hit that shit. That's when God was like, don't keep playing with me. You should be able to ask your God as many questions as you want. Man can't answer all your questions. And a lot of times, man is not brave enough to say that. Hey, coming on up, listen, that's a good question. If you made in his image, he should understand. God has no problem with you asking questions. Man does, because man can't answer all your questions. So what they tell you, don't question God. Like when I was a child, I used to think, okay, what people say, God is this person, this being, and he protects over us. And then when bad things would happen to people, like say children dying young or people dying in a fire, I would say, well, wait a minute. If there's a God, why would God want that? And they would say, well, you don't question God. That ain't never make no sense to me. That never made any sense to me. Real talk. It was like, well, why can't I question God? Why can't I? Why can't I? That never made any sense to me. When people would say that, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. You say he's omnipresent, he knows all that, then why I can't ask him no questions? You say I would ask my dad about dinosaurs as a kid. He'd ignore me. Damn. That's crazy work. Yeah, Janine, I see it as being the point. They claim God knows us. He knew us before we even knew ourselves. You've heard people say it, but you're not supposed to ask them no questions. Hey, I just try to, these are questions that I have had for eons that I just ask to try to get people to think. Real shit. I just try to get people to think, because for the life of me, the shit doesn't make any sense. I'm not trying to tell people what to believe, what not to believe. I'm just saying it don't make no sense. That's all. That's all. Right, JC. God's all knowing, but he ain't know nothing that would happen in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Don't make no sense. I stand by saying what I said. Stand by. To me, it's a book of stories. It's symbolism. It's a book of stories so that man wouldn't be a decrepit member of society. To be honest with you, I feel like a lot of it was created because if man didn't have something to hold it accountable, it would be even more deplorable. I'm just keeping it all way a buck. For some people, the only thing that keeps them from acting a whole damn fool is the thought that if they act up, they won't go to heaven. Real shit. So I feel like a lot of times it was done to keep people in order, to keep man in order. Because when man saw how raggedy man was, they was like, hey, we need something here because these motherfuckers is insane. That's how I see it. Oh, no, you're fine, Gwendolyn. I'm asking people to share their perspectives and share their opinions on this. I'm not saying everybody has to agree with me, but it makes me think. It just makes me think. Because think about how many people who say God keeps them on the straight and narrow. Think about it. So you need a being, an entity to keep you from being a deplorable ass person. That's what they saying. Yeah. The thought of burning in hell is enough to keep them acting right on earth. That's a problem with humanity. That's a problem with humanity. That you need that to not act a whole fucking fool. Hey, man. As a former Muslim, I had so many questions and stopped blindly following. I can understand that. See, any place where I can't ask questions, I'm not going to feel comfortable. I'm going to feel like you trying to run game on me. And that's one of the things I loved about being a Buddhist. Anytime I asked a question, there was somebody there to answer it. And there were many times that people would say, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's go figure it out. I got a lot of respect for people who say they don't know. I got more respect for that than somebody lying to me and making shit up. I got more respect for that. More respect for that. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we should have a total abolishing of religion because quiet is kept. Religion was one of the things that's the one thing that's keeping some people off your ass. Real shit. Real shit. For some of us, or just for some people in America or in the world, on earth that are alive, religion is the only thing keeping them from flipping the table over and acting a whole fucking fool. That's it. That's it. So it's just something for y'all to think about. Again, I just wanted you to think this morning. I don't want to tell you what to think. I'm not into that. I just wanted to tell you to think. Give it some thought. And I've had some of these conversations with people in the church where they're like, damn, you are asking me really good questions. And these are people that I know, right? And they'll tell me, all right, I don't know the answer to that. I really don't know. Man, Zarvis, if folks only knew, I'm not even a Christian, but religion and spirituality, that stuff, listen, I would be the worst degenerate on earth. I think religion helps to keep you in line if it's the right thing. It can't be no bullshit though. You understand? It can't be no bullshit. But I would be a little Griselda Blanco. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it. I just don't want to have to give no explanations, I don't want to have to explain nothing to nobody in this life, in the next life, in the next life, in the next life. I don't want to explain nothing. I don't want nobody to be like, why was you pushing weight? Well, why wouldn't I push weight? I'm telling you, it's why a lot of reformed gangsters become pastors and preachers. Being in the church is the only thing that keeps them from being in the streets. They still grifting. They still hustling. Oh, they still hustling, making money. They just using God to do it. How did we come to Christianity? Was Christ in Africa? Damn, that's a good question. I'll research it because I really don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. You know what? I would say some of it had to do with the settlers coming here because the Native Americans were already here and they were not Christians. They were not Christians, okay? They were not Christians. So I think a lot of it has to do with settlers. Yep. When the conquerors came, they brought their religion and forced their religion on everybody else. Yep, I just researched. They said to research how Christianity came to America, look at sources covering European colonization, specific denominations, and religious movements. Begin by studying the 16th and 17th centuries when Spain, France, Britain introduced Catholicism and different Protestant groups like Puritans, Anglicans, and others brought their faiths to the colonies. Just like I thought, colonization did it. Yep, the colonizers brought it. That's why Christianity is in America so hardcore. It's not because people woke up one day and decided to become Christians. It's because the people that decided to invade, they were illegal immigrants and they invaded America without their paperwork and they got here and they took jobs. They took American jobs from Native Americans. That's what happened. Since America want to talk about, this, that, and the other, that's really what happened. Illegal immigrants, those colonizers and shit, came here and took jobs from Americans, Native Americans, isolated them onto land that only they could be on to stay alive. Because if those Native Americans went outside that land every time, they was going to have to fight these so-called God-fearing people. That's that bullshit. I just wanted you to think this more. I'm going to dig into this today. I love this type of stuff. I'm a geek I love learning. And I'm a geek for things. I'll say it like that. I'm a geek. I love being a geek. Being a geek is fun and learning is fun. But I figured that that's the only way that it got to America. Colonizers and black people hardcore became Christians because of slavery. They were indoctrinated into being Christians through fucking slavery. I said what I said. And colonizers used religion and God to keep black people docile and keep them in slavery, to make it seem like their God wanted them to be enslaved. See, you ain't gonna push back when you think your God wants you enslaved. You gonna sit there and you gonna take that shit. I'm telling you. That's why they wanted to teach black people Christianity, to keep your ass in chains and bondage. And hundreds of years later, a whole bunch of y'all are still in fucking bondage. Ain't nothing changed. Say it again, Tracy. What God would want the worst for me? Look, I'm about to clue you in on something, Tracy. A white Jesus. That's a whole bar. I ain't even have to say nothing after that. That was like a mic drop moment. Yep, old Jim Crow Jesus. Hell, think about it. Religious Americans say that God says it's okay to be hateful and we should have a separation of the races. They use Bible to justify that shit. Think about it. In America, they use the Bible to justify segregation and racism. In a fucking America. Shit. Jesus was not according to the Puritans, not according to what they call the founding fathers. I don't know how the fuck you find a whole country that's already there, but not according to those people. According to those people, Jesus was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy that looked like Brad Pitt with six-pack abs. What? Y'all didn't know. Jesus had a gym membership. And he went to Starbucks. I'm calling it out because it's bullshit hypocrisy. Yep. If folks questioned it just a little bit, because again, I especially question it with conservatives. If y'all believed in God the way you did, what makes you think Trump is God? See, I'm going to tell you what I think when I see Donald Trump. Trump is here to question your faith. If you want to believe it, Trump is here to question you. God testing you. Do you really believe the shit that you tell people? Do you? Well, let's test it. Because if it's a test, millions of people have failed that shit. I keep saying if Jesus came back right now, if Jesus came back right now, Christians would be the first to crucify him again. Not non-Christians, Christians. His own people. What they say, it always be the people closest to you. And those would be the people that would crucify Jesus again. Yeah, for sure. Because the mindset, a lot of religion is based on race in America. A lot of it's based on race. Y'all gonna learn. I'm gonna dig into this today myself. I've got to dig into this today. This is gonna be a great, I just love doing geeky shit. So I'm gonna play with this today. Yep. They will choose Barabbas. Yeah, you're right. Listen, Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you being here with me this morning. Listen, don't forget, Saturday, we're doing bread making Saturday in the morning. We're making jalapeno cornbread on Saturday, along with a homemade chocolate cake with homemade chocolate buttercream icing. And actually, the cake is going to be a yellow cake with homemade buttercream icing. And matter of fact, let me not even lie. The cake is not going to be homemade. The icing will be. But that fucking cake mix is box cakes mix that I got from fucking Aldi's. Y'all. Because them Aldi cake mix boxes be on the business. I don't even buy Dunkin' Hines. I buy that shit out of Aldi's. Though those biscuits were real tasty. I think Tiffany said she made those biscuits and made some and gave some away. Listen. Make those biscuits, y'all. Just don't give them to no man. And men, don't give them to no woman you trying to get rid of. You ain't gonna be able to get rid of them. I'm telling you. So that's what we're doing Saturday. Don't forget, y'all, that a couple of things. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. A couple of things. Don't forget that on November 21st at 8:30 p.m. right here on TikTok Live, we're going to discuss the movie The Perfect Neighbor. That's a documentary that's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure you watch it because on the 21st, we're going to discuss it. Then on the 25th, we're going to discuss the movie The Three Extremes, but we're going to have a watch party for that. Click the link in my bio to come over to Patreon because I'll put the details of where we're going to do that watch party because it probably won't happen here on TikTok. So that's happening. Then on the 29th, we're discussing Tenet. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? So if you haven't watched those movies, you need to start looking at them, all right? Also, last night, I did post a new episode of the Straight No Chaser podcast. The new episode of it comes out and is available to everybody today starting at 7 p.m. But those members of my Patreon got early access to it yesterday. Episode 41, I call it Life Be Lifin', but we still winning. I wanted to give you something to be hopeful about. That movie about the church is Stigmata. 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 You'll like it. Thank you, Kiara. I'm glad you enjoyed the new episode. Because I want to give people some hope, some hope. Because that's what we need right about now. To be hopeful instead of hopeless, okay? Now, I may or may not be back on this afternoon because I got to pick the kid up from work at 5 o'clock. She wants me to redo her braids today. I got to do domestic shit. And then she want me to sit there and my head is small, so she want me to let me sit there while she put her wig on my head and while she do something with her wig. Child. To be a mama, honey. I'm like, okay, but you ain't pasting no shit on my head. You know what I mean? She ain't gonna have, what I tell y'all with them fucking baby hairs and shit. No, ma'am. But she need to use my head so she can trim it. So I may or may not be back on this afternoon. I don't know. If you see me, it's a surprise. If you don't see me, don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be surprised. Because I'm gonna help the kid tonight. The things a mama do for her child. Honey, so I'm gonna do it tonight. And when I dropped off at work tonight, she was like, don't forget, you said you was gonna braid my hair tonight, and I need to put my wig on your head because you got a small head, and I need to. And I was like, hold up, you tried it. You really did come for me real quick. No, I wasn't trying to say it like that. I'm like, whatever. Oh, Zarvis said I got that play doll head. Listen. When they say I got that peanut head. That's what I call it. I got that peanut head. So I may or may not be back on tonight. And because I want to do a dry run through of the jalapeno cornbread recipe. So I want to see how I want to play with that. Because remember I told you on Sunday, I'm going to get on live for a little bit and I'm going to take that jalapeno cornbread and I'm going to turn it into stuffing. And we got Thanksgiving coming up. So, and I will put the ingredients that I'm going to use for it to be stuffing. I'll put that on Patreon. I just haven't yet, but I'll make sure to put that up. So anybody want to cook with me while I'm cooking, you can at the same time. Okay. So listen, because I do an uncensored after show on Patreon, and this morning, y'all, we got a couple of things to talk about. We're gonna, like I told y'all, we're gonna talk about hold on, let me find the stuff that I had. So we got a couple things we talk about this morning. We're going to look at some footage in relation to Trump having MBS in there. The stuff that I told y'all about Alex Jones talking about Trump sucking off Bubba 7 years ago. Whoever the fuck Bubba is. I want to know who Bubba is. And if Bubba's a horse, no, I'm going to just stay away from that because it's going to traumatize me. I don't need the mental, nope. Just like I never watched, y'all remember when that video came out many decades, it had to be about 15 years ago, that 2 girls, 1 cup shit. I never watched it. I heard enough people tap dance around what it was where it told me, nope, it ain't no shit I never need to see. Yep, that's what it told me. It told me it was never nothing I needed to see, so I never went looking. I never watched it, and I never will. I'm one of those people, once I see something, it's hard to unsee that shit. So I don't want to do it. Not somebody say it's Dubai chocolate. Listen. Kiara, you watched it? I never watched it. People described to me what it was, but I never watched it. Cause I was like, why would I want to watch? Oh no. The whole time I'd be like, nope. I got a weak stomach. I don't need that in my life. I'm good. So I never watched it. It's certain things in my life I will never watch cause I can't unsee it once I seen it. It gonna fuck my head up for life. So I just don't watch the shit. Nope. It ain't AI because it was before AI. That I know for show, not for play. That shit was not AI because this was way before AI. That's what makes it even worse is it's real. Listen, y'all think the internet is a bad place now? Man, in the 90s and the early 2000s, the internet, man, some of the things I saw on y'all remember MIRC? Some of the things I used to see on there is jail. And the shit that you would see on there was the worst of the worst because not only you would see it, you were on dial-up. So it's not like you instantly saw the shit. You had to wait for the pictures to load. So you're slowly seeing this degenerate behavior and shit. Oh my God. Yep, no warnings, no nothing. Internet was a savage place. Y'all think it's bad now? Young people, y'all will never know how fucking savage the internet was in them early days. Quiet as kept. It's still the Wild Wild West, but it's nowhere near as wild as it was back then. Oh, back then it was like, the fuck am I looking at here? The internet's a wild place. Oh man, I remember them early YouTube days. And quiet as kept, it was the golden age of the internet. That's when you saw, remember when Vine exists? Oh my God, that was way back in the day, man. Hell, I still remember the only way to really get on the internet, you had to try to get you one of those AOL discs to install the AOL shit on your computer so you could do dial-up. Young people, y'all will never know. I'm going way back. Listen, I thank y'all for joining me this morning. We had a great discussion. We always do. Now, I'm going to get into the uncensored show. On Fridays, I do an uncensored live on Patreon for everybody. It's called Freebie Friday. So if you want to be a part of that, click the link in my profile and come on over and check out the Patreon so you can be a part of the Friday freebie session. Otherwise, it's available for Circle and Up members. So listen, I thank y'all for the 64,000 likes. I appreciate it. I appreciate the over 100 shares. I want each and every one of you to have a beautiful and blessed day, okay? Don't forget to listen to the Straight No Chaser podcast that drops tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I wrap up, I want to send a shout out to my top gifters. I do this every live. I thank all of you for being here, but I'm sending a shout out to my top 5 gifters. Number 1, handsome Russ Nelson. Thank you, handsome. Number 2, beautiful Lori. Thank you, beautiful. Number 3, Coach T. Hey, beautiful. Dang, I ain't never had no coaches look as good as you, girl. Number 4, beautiful Abby. Hey, Abby. Thank you so much for joining today, beautiful. Number 5, handsome Kiera. Hey, Kiera. Thank you so much for joining me. And a special shout out to number 6, beautiful Tiffany. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you. If there are any mods in here, Scorp, I'm going to put the live up over on YouTube. I put my lives on YouTube every day. So if you want to check out the show again, just check it out on YouTube and you're able to see it there as well. Like I said, I may or may not be back this afternoon. It really depends on how long it takes me to do this child's hair, which 9 times out of 10, I won't be back this afternoon because she got to wash it. She going to put a texturizer in it. Oh, and she don't even get off to 5 o'clock. I'm like, good Lord. Oh, but I'm going to do it for her because mama said she would. And if I don't, and I was supposed to do it last week and I didn't do it. And she like, mama, my wig is slipping off because I need my braids redone. Chill. How about you use your own hair? But that's a whole nother thing. Let me stop. Anyway, listen, I love you all. Listen, I want to tell you what I always tell you. Don't let nobody live rent-free in your head. Don't feed no trolls. And you can accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you stay consistent, you guys. Peace. Don't forget, Red Friday, no Wi-Fi Monday. Y'all need to starve the rich. And y'all shouldn't do none of that shit. Only buy what you need. Don't buy what you don't. Okay? Love you. Have a great and beautiful day.